everybody. We are live on the Mentor Show.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready.
We are ready to go.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Olusola Ajide, your host on the Mentor Show, where we inspire you, help you reinvent yourself, and make a positive impact in your community, in your country, and on your continent. We mentor people across Africa. We bring you guests with inspiring life stories who are themselves transformation agents, making a positive change in their profession and nation. Subscribe to the African Coaching and Mentorship Initiative YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's the Mentor Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. We are on the Mentor Show, live on the Mentor Show. Today, the 22nd. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir, Mr. Jerry Amole. Good evening, sir. Welcome, Angie Dutton. Welcome, sir, Mr. Jerry Amole. How are you doing, sir? How's the family, sir? Welcome to the Mentor Show. I'm your host, Dr. Olusola Ajide, and on this show, we inspire you. On this show, we help you reinvent yourself, as it were. On this show, we help you and we inspire you and teach you to make positive impact in your community, in your country, and on your continent. And we bring guests on this show who are trailblazers making significant impact on earth. And what that underscores is that you also can make positive impact in your community, in your country, and on your continent. And from the life stories of these guests, we, as it were, go into a type of a master class, unpacking their own experiences, learning from their experiences, and seeing how we can also pivot to the next level. On this Mentor Show, we also remove all those roadblocks of beliefs. We reconstruct and remove all those limiting beliefs, as it were. And that is what we do on this show. Tonight is no exception. We have a great guest that will be coming on the show tonight, from whose life story, who is making impact in his own, in his own sphere of influence. And from that particular way in which he's making influence, welcome, Official Godwin Michael. Good evening, welcome. So, and from the life of our guest tonight, we'll be, unpacking things and seeing how he's making impact. And from that story, you also can and will be able to see how you can make positive impact in your country, in your community, and on your continent. So it's going to be a great time tonight. Don't forget, it's the Mentor Show. We always come your way every Tuesday and every Friday. We are live on my Facebook page, Olusola Ajide. We are live on Twitch at Africa Coaching and Mentorship. We are live on Periscope at Africa Mentorship. And we are live on the Africa Coaching and Mentorship YouTube channel. So you can also tell family and friends, invite your family and friends to join us, even as we dive in tonight into learning how to, reinvent ourselves, how to become change agents, as it were, which God has ordained all of us to be. So, so it's going to be great tonight. It's going to be great tonight while we wait for our guest. Is, a person making positive. If you've seen my teaser, you will see that he's making significant impact in his own sphere, and he's growing. On this show, we've been privileged to have great guests that have joined us. Welcome, I am Peter Bliss. Good evening. Welcome. Tell us where you are joining us from, please. Please tell us where you are watching us from, where you are joining us for tonight on this show. Tell us where you are joining us on this show from. So it's going to be great tonight as we wait for our guest, in which are going to be able to. Aliyah, welcome. Aliyah, welcome. So it's going to be great tonight, in which are going to have a wonderful time of learning from the lives of these people. Since we started last year, May, it's been wonderful. We've had great guests on this show. You can go back. Okay, I'm Peter Bliss. Hey, our guest is in. Okay, from Enugu. Okay, all right. Okay, hello, yeah. Oh, Debenat, how are you? I think you told me you are from in India, if I remember. Oh, great having you again tonight, Debenat. It's been a long time. Hi. So welcome. So our guest is in the house. Just send me an invite, and let me just even send you an invite, and we go. So we can quickly go for it tonight. Yes, but Aliyah watching from America. Yeah, I am official Godwin Michael from Enugu State. Great. So we are waiting for our guests to accept, and it's going to be great tonight. I've sent you an invite. Okay, it's connecting now. Great. Hey, our guest is in the house. Drum roll. Yeah, that was a drum roll. Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel.
Hi.
You're welcome. Welcome to the Mentors Show.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm trying to set up. Yep. I think this is better.
Okay. Great. Yeah, good evening. How are you today?
I'm good.
Great.
Fine. How are you?
Very fine. Thank you. Peter Bliss is saying welcome to you. MC Tobetsti, welcome. Welcome. It's the Mentors Show tonight, and we have a great guest in our midst as usual. Today, our guest is Mr. Emmanuel Agunze, a trailblazer, like every of our guests that will bring to you on this show that are making perfect and wonderful impact in their various sphere of influence. And our guest tonight is no exception from our previous guests and even our future guests that we are bringing. So tonight we have in the house Mr. Emmanuel Agunze. We have Mr. Emmanuel Agunze, who is the director of the Makoko Dream. The Makoko Dream, an organization that is, concerned about helping communities, those communities that seems to have been forgotten. The Makoko, if you know, for those of you who are not from Nigeria, Makoko is a community that is on the third mainland bridge. If I'm correct, the third mainland bridge. They are under the third mainland bridge. As you drive on the third mainland bridge in Lagos, Nigeria, you will see Makoko just on that bridge. You will see the shanties living. Actually, they live on water. And that's the community that our guest tonight is doing great things, great projects, and is bringing educational changes and giving skills to this group of people. He's been concerned helping people to address the issue of child labor, which is one of the things that the United Nations is saying we must stop, and the ILO is saying we must also stop that. His organization has reached over 8,000 people in that particular community with various intervention programs, and so far he has been able to help train 640 children, putting them into schools, free tuition, teaching them free of charge, free tuition, free uniforms, even opportunity of helping these children to become great people, and also he also, like, I don't know, some of you, if you will remember, maybe when you were growing up, you had school bus that picked you. These people live on water. So he has been able to help give them a boat bus, if you like, a water bus that help ship them from wherever they are staying to come to school free of charge for these children, for them to get education. Without education, there cannot be any change in the life of anybody. And our guest tonight is in the forefront of making that possible to the Makoko community. Also, is a Nelson Mandela recipient who has been able to go to America based on seeing the impact he's making. He was sponsored to go to America to learn more skills, to come back and do more. He's a great person of many parts. So tonight, and he's also skilled in helping non-governmental agencies in getting funding. He's skilled and he has that specialty, and he sits on the board of international agencies making impact in America and across the world. So welcome tonight our guest, Mr. Emmanuel Agunze.
Hi everyone. It's so good to be here.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a sore time.
Yeah. Is going to be tonight. Well, let's just go for it. So let's start by, who is Mr. Emmanuel Agunze?
It's just a small boy that has a big God who believes in big dreams and believes that everyone has a chance to become great if they are given the opportunity.
So
And I feel I'm passionate about children education because a child is labeled from childhood what they are not. So it's like the parents are rich, the child is labeled rich. The parents are poor, the child is labeled poor. And that to me is unfair. So I'm simply trying to bridge that gap. So ensure that every child, regardless of whether rich or poor, educated or not, opportunity or not, have that level ground to thrive. And education is the way I see how that can happen, because it just wings that they get and they can just fly.
So education is that bridge you are constructing to make that change. Well, it's very interesting when you said, maybe you are listening. Are you listening back on your? There's a I can hear myself.
Well, I can hear you.
Are you listening to this show on a device over there?
No.
I don't know why I'm hearing repeating. I'm hearing myself reverb like a reverb. All right. So you mentioned you say a small boy who believes in a big God, and I believe all dreams can come to pass. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, at what point, take us back to when Emmanuel Agunze was 9 years old. 10 years old. What was your dream? What was your dream?
I was probably solving maths for people who did not do assignments.
Oh, solving maths, helping people.
Yes, I was probably doing that, and honestly, it was really not my dream, as it were, to be a humanitarian. Yeah, I like helping people. What I wanted to do was to be the business guy who makes all the money and then sponsors those who like humanitarian works and just be at the shadow. So that was just it. I was not really the humanitarian forefront person. But then, I think the turnaround was when I was in Covenant University, and this saying kept coming from our chancellor then, that you're not a millionaire because you have ₦1 million or $1 million. You're a millionaire because you've touched 1 million lives. And that at every time that you've touched 1 million lives, should anything happen to you and you're broke, 1 million lives will always come to your rescue if you need it. But because of the way God has designed it, because you've touched 1 million lives, you are never going to be broke. So I looked at it and I'm like, okay, so I can actually touch the lives directly. I don't have to be looking for how to just get all the money and touch the lives directly. So I started doing a lot of humanitarian work, and here I am.
Interesting. So that particular, and ladies and gentlemen, before I now for our guest tonight has mentioned this particular part of while he was young, all he wanted to do was to make the money and go for the money. Some would say just pursue the money, and that was his own aim and goal. However, a turning point came based on the chancellor of the school, Coventry University, that he attended, that says, I think that's a quotable quote I think is important. It is not when you are not a millionaire by having money, by having 1 million naira or $1 million, but you are actually a millionaire when you have touched and impacted 1 million lives. Wow. And I think that is very insightful, isn't it? To say that or you have a response to that.
Yes. Yeah. So don't quote me wrong. Yeah. If someone's passion is to make money, that's good. If the person wants to be the next Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, that's very good. But what I got from that statement is the fact that people who sustain wealth are people who think of people in terms of impact. So Jeff Bezos increased wealth during the COVID-19 period mainly because Amazon was reaching out to people that could not go out. So his business was centered on meeting people's needs or impacting people. So his own passion is to make money. That's good. But it's always centered on how much impact you can make in terms of meeting people's needs. So whether the needs that will give you something in return in terms of money, or needs that will give you fulfillment or sense of fulfillment in terms of impact, whichever way, it's still about people. So I got that from that statement that you don't have to have it all figured out before you want to touch a life. And I think that's one thing that has helped me. Many of the times people say, oh, I still need help in my own area, I can't help someone else. And I'm like, no, you can help someone. Your kids, no matter how bad it is, there's someone else whose kids is worse. And you cannot live life complaining about how bad it is for us. We can just, for once, forget about what we're going through and think of the next person. And that's basically how I see things. So that statement was mainly about, hey, you don't need to have figured all about life, because you really will not figure life no matter how long you live. But wherever you are, ensure that you're leaving your footprint in the sands of time. You're touching someone's life. And these are things that Steve Jobs is dead, but Apple is still doing very well because his vision of Apple and everything is evolutionary. It's touching lives. People still prefer it to other things. Not because it's Apple, but because there's something about it. It's about people-centric. So that's the take.
Interesting. So the key point there is ensuring one is leaving impact.
Yes.
Ensuring one is leaving impact, and the impact is important to make sure that the impact is a sustainable impact, like the case you gave of Apple, that even after you have gone, those impacts will continue to resonate. I think, okay, MC to Bessie is reinforcing what you said. It says, yes, I agree with the great Agunze. It says, you are not a millionaire by having $1 million in your account, but by touching 1 million lives. Great. Ensure that you touch someone's lives. Excellent. So that I think is a great one. Now, the question we now ask for you as a person. Good evening, Chioma. Welcome. How did you go about it? Because somebody will be here who's thinking, oh, I want to also make impact. I want to touch 1 million lives. I want to do X. I want to do something. How did you start? And how did you know that it was Makoko you were supposed to go to? Because there are many various issues on earth.
It's funny. I think walking with God has helped me know that you don't need to know it all. You just need to have a heart that is ready to serve. I was born and brought up in Lagos, but I really did not like Lagos. But, well, I can't leave Lagos because that's where I was born and brought up. But I went to Covenant University, so I was happy because that place was a different world entirely. And I was like, I didn't want to come back to Lagos. I was in Covenant even after schooling, just hanging around and do something to just not come back to Lagos. But every time I come to Lagos to see my sisters or something, I'm always concerned about the people I see on the other side of the bridge. So I'm like, what's really going on? I was imagining how would it be like to be in the other side and see the Third Mainland Bridge instead of me being on Third Mainland Bridge and seeing that. And the opportunity came, and that's the word. Opportunities will come, but it's you that determine if it's an opportunity or not. The opportunity came where I was to lead a team from Covenant University on a program in the US on this program called the Halts Prize. And
The Hunt?
Halts Prize, HULTPRIZ.
Okay.
So mentor for the trade. And when I got to Makoko for the first time, I've been to Makoko virtually, but I've not been to Makoko until that time when I took the thing there. I could sense in my spirit that this is the place, or this is something I really want to do. It didn't make sense to anybody because there was really nothing to see as something that can become anything from it. But I could see that these persons, despite the fact that they have little or nothing, they have something that most people lack, and that's happiness.
Happiness. Interesting.
And what I wanted to do was to tell the world about this aspect of them that most people do not know. And that is exactly what I wanted to do, and I started by making stories. So it's not really a foundation, it's just like a project. Most times before now, people have talked about Makoko as places that people are dying and everything. And I'm like, that's not entirely true. These people are human beings like anybody else. They are just in the low spectrum of life. And later on, I found out that since the inception of Makoko to date, not one child have died out of hunger. And that is a revolutionary statement because you see Makoko, you see like, oh, people are hungry. Yes, they are hungry, but not one child has died out of hunger. Yes, children have died out of diseases, malaria and the rest. Very true. But not all that are died out of hunger because as much as they are in poverty, they live a kind of communalism system where everyone is taking care of everyone. So no matter how poor you are, if you just walk up to the next person that has the little food, the person will share. Now that spirit is something that I treasure, and I was like, I want to propagate this spirit. And then looking at, let me see what I can do. Started basically by doing for my own quota. So I was working there in a real estate company, and after my salary, I just take some portion and buy maybe books and the rest. And the joy I got from the faces of the children was my own thing and my own satisfaction. It was like everything to me, and it is still everything. And that is exactly why I say an opportunity will come. You decide whether it's an opportunity or not. And yeah, that's how we just progressed and progressed and progressed. And here we are.
Interesting. So how many years have you been in Makoko now?
I would say 4 years, or more than 4. So like I said, I've been a historian in terms of knowing about slum communities. I studied architecture, but personally I like history. So I know that Lagos itself, though it's a mega city, has a lot of slum communities. So I've been following up on slum communities for more than 10 years. But in Makoko particularly, it started March 1st, 2016. That day, yeah, my mind.
March 1st, 2016. Interesting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this live or you are watching the repeat of this, precious welcome. It's important I underscore some of the points which our guest has made about the fact of how he started going to this place. He said an opportunity showcased itself. And you see, oftentimes it is said that opportunities often come in a coverall called work. So even though it was schooling, the work was take this group of people to Makoko. He could have said, for what reason? I have other things to do. He could have, given excuse or anything. But he saw it as an opportunity to go into that community and to be physically there, not virtual now, but physically to be on ground. And that, I believe, even, it's very interesting the way you said it. When you got into Makoko, you said, this is it, this is the place. And that was the same thing your Bishop Oyedepo also said when he got to Ota. He said, he remembered God said, this is the place.
Yeah, although it didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it, but at least you just knew that this is something similar.
Yeah.
This is something similar. This is something which is, and it's very interesting of you finding out that 4 years plus now, and you've been there, and you have been able to bring substantial change into the lives of the people. Now, I think that is very important. Now, there's something you mentioned, which
Okay.
for anyone watching this tonight, we also need to learn from. You mentioned that even though you did architecture, but for the past 10 years, and I assume the 10 years maybe before you got into the university, you've been concerned about studying slums. Why?
Yeah, because slums are created by orchestrated bad government. So it's something I'm passionate about because I know that slum is a projection of how a government treats her people. And the funny thing about slum communities in Lagos is that they're usually centered around the highbrow area. So the first one was the Morocco slum, that's now currently the Lekki Phase 1 or the Oniru. And then the other ones in Barre, Badagry, the ones in Ojo, the one in Ekpe, the one in scattered around Lagos, the one in Monkey Village, in Ajegule, several places. They're all centered around development. So it means that if slum communities, to me, they're not developed, the communities, no matter how garnished they are not sustainable. And I have this saying that I tell persons, you're driving your Ferrari, you're driving your Lamborghini and everything, and you don't concern yourself about these people who don't have what to eat. Very soon, they will feed on you because they don't have what to eat. You're not safe if they are not taken care of. So for me, it was about bridging that gap and ensuring that there's a level playing ground. Well, the persons who are born in silver spoon is not their fault. Also, the persons who are not born with silver spoon should not be their fault. But then there should be a level playing ground whereby whether those born with silver spoon or those not born with silver spoon have a common playing ground to express the God-given talent that they have. And that's why I'm so passionate and particular about slum community. Because the talents are there. And when the talents are not harnessed, it's easy for them to go into things that are not proper. And the society always blames them, oh, you're this, you're that. But then they don't understand that these persons are going through stuff. And the only way out for them is crime. But then if you give them an alternative, a positive alternative that is sustainable, then that they decide not to take that opportunity will not be on your head. It will be that you've done your part.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to create
Interesting.
Let me know.
Sule Manafose says, I don't know what the discussion is based, but got triggered to join because of my guy Emmanuel. Okay. Yeah. So Sule, we are on the Mentor Show. On this show, we inspire people to make positive impact in their community, in their country, and the continent. And our guest tonight, Mr. Emmanuel, who is your friend, is making great impact, and that's why he's on the show.
Hi, Suleiman. It's good to meet you.
So it's interesting. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the point you are making is that for our guest tonight, it's Makoko he has focused on. And like I always say that each one of us, we have a constituency. Not only those who are in Abuja have a constituency that they are catering for. When God created you, there's a constituency that you are responsible for to represent, to help bring positive change to that constituency. So it's for you to discover your constituency, the people that you need to bring change in their lives. For our guest tonight, his own constituency, which he has been able to, by ordered, and he has been able to discover, is the Makoko people, and is making positive change. And like we said in the intro, 8,000 people has been impacted, empowerment, making them to know the right things to do, and 640 children. That is huge. So how do you relate with these children?
At first, I was not even looking at numbers. I was looking at just one child.
Okay.
The idea was just to get one child, and whatever little money I have, I'll be responsible for that child. Then, when I came to Makoko, I saw several things that were not working well. Pictures will not do the justice. Pictures don't snap the stench. Pictures will not tell you that the community has smoking of fish, which is pure, unadulterated carbon monoxide. And these children go through this every day. Pictures will not tell you that the place stinks. Pictures will not tell you several things. Videos will not do justice to that. I found out that children at age of 11, 12 already doing things that were not proper. Girls of 13, 12 already being in different ways that are not proper. I saw several things that were not right. And it was so much of a burden to me. And I was looking at, okay, where do I really start? And one of the things I found that I was trying to correct was the fact that a lot of persons in that community have an entitlement mentality.
Okay.
And as much as it's good to help, it's also good to correct that, so that they always know that no matter how bad the situation is, there's something they can do to salvage whatever they are doing. So our first model was not to even start a school. Our first model was to adopt a school. So the first school that we had was an adopted school. And it was intentional. Intentional in the sense that over time I believe that people will always take care of their own when there's a joint investment.
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't want to come in as the savior of the world. Just saw the school that was one of the schools that was like a lesson that was already existed, and then I saw how to adopt that school, bring more light to it, and it was an interesting thing when the school. Well, medical school was about 105, and then within 1 year we have increased to about 200 plus.
Wow.
But after 1 or 2 years, the school had gotten some exposure and everything, and they handed it over back to the people who started it, so that they can, continue. Then I got to go to the US in 2018, and then when I came back, I was like, oh, should I continue adopting another school or just focus on the one that were adopted? And then I was like, I need to ensure that more areas around there get something. Then we started our own school. That's the second one. But this time it was on land. And that was what brought about ensuring that we had school buses. Because though it was on land, we still had several children who were on the water side that needed to come to school and go back. So we had our fleet of canoes serving as our bus system. And we had volunteers among the children and among the people there. And then what we did was to ensure that the people who were going to do these things were indigenous of the community. Still about internalizing it.
Yeah.
And then the number grew from 100 and something, this second place, to more than 600. Presently, the second school is about 450 plus, but over time, the number of children that we have enrolled are more than 800. And some can have gone to other places, but then they've gotten that mindset that no matter where they find themselves, possibility is nothing. At best, just a mirage that can be demystified by hard work and purposeful commitment to their work. And that's exactly what I want to do. That spark of change. That hey, you're not what you are because of the environment you find yourself in. You're what you are because of the decisions you make and the choices you make. If you make a conscious decision to be great, regardless of what or where you found yourselves, opportunities to make you become that great person will come. And when it comes, because you're ready, you will seize it with all zeal, zest, and gusto and get it. But if you're not ready, even when the opportunity comes, you will not know there's an opportunity.
Excellent. Wow. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that this fact of intending, like if you, and for those of you who are here, Chioma and Sylvia and Aliyah will bear witness, like our guests we had last week. You'll see there's a similarity between our guests last week and all our guests even on this show and our guest tonight. The desire to make impact is just start with one person. You're not thinking of saving the world. It's just a desire to start with one person. However, that one person will increase geometrically. And today, you could see that for you, from just desire to just do just one, and now it has increased significantly. So for you who are listeners tonight and our audience, and for those who are watching the replay later, just desire to start with one person. Don't intend to want to do something so huge or humongous. Just start with one person, and with one change you are making, that will grow from there into something great and something significant, even for other people. Great. And I like what the point you mentioned, which I think is a critical challenge, particularly in Africa and even in other parts of the world, of the fact that you are not the way you are, or you are not unfortunate because of your environment. Okay, thank you very much for that. Before I continue, MC to Betsy, she says, opportunities plus readiness equals success. Thank you for that. Yes, opportunities plus readiness to make a change equals success. And that's the point you underscored, that people's situation, poor people, either they are poor or there's a challenge they are going through, is not because of the environment they find themselves. It's actually the decisions they made, like you rightly mentioned. It's the decisions we decide. What we decide to do is what really matters. Because in that same environment, people like yourself are making significant change, while some other people might be giving excuses and say, oh, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. Now, let's go back to this point, which pretty much might be in the mind of some people. They've not asked that question yet, is how do you, as a person, how do you feed? Because that's the beauty. Also, if you are taking care of these children, and you did architecture, and you are not telling that you are now in Emmanuel Agunze Architects, you are not telling us that maybe you are still doing architecture. How do you feed? How do you survive? No, because if you're able to demystify that, it will help other people. Because oftentimes people want to do something, but the question will be, how would I survive? How would I pay my bills?
Okay, so
grow wealth you grow wealth by two ways, by either increasing income or reducing expenditure. So, and I'll bring that into context. If you're going to do this work and do it very well, you have to live a life that is not high on expenditure.
Okay.
If you're the kind, most of the times, the reason why people have problems is because they are founders and they won't start living like Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
And it doesn't work that way. So, of course, I've had times where after I finish a project, I didn't even have transport money to go home. Or I just had enough transport money for me to go home. And I was happy with that. I was glad because it was not like I was expecting that I'm doing projects like this and I need this amount or that amount. Many persons don't have that as a skill in terms of how to live within their means. And that's where the problem starts. And it means that for you to be able to live within your means, you need to learn how to manage it. And the second thing again is you have skills. I see non-profit work as giving you time to do other things and make you freer, if I use that word. So you have skills, you can network it and monetize those skills. So while I was doing this, I had more time to do personal stuff. So I was on the side doing some teaching as a private tutor. I know of some of my friends who were doing these impact projects, and then on the side they were Uber drivers. They were doing those things to take care of themselves so that they can do the work. Now, that will not give you so much wealth, but to give you time to focus. And when it gives you that time to focus, then you can grow it. But the problem we have most times is that people want to get wealth and get impact at the same time. And they want to get it quick. And it doesn't always come that way. So how do I take care of myself? I use the other skills that I have in the time that I have to take care of myself. So you're the founder, you're the CEO, it doesn't stop you from doing other things. So then I was doing that. But the most important thing is I feel God miraculously provides for people that do the work He tells them to do. That may not be able to explain that to people, but I think He does that. And then you now have to be ready for the opportunities. Like MC to Basic, one of the mentees that's here, he's an MC, so he does MC work. Now you don't need so much skill to do that, but then you can invest so much time and do that. So you can be an MC after a program, and then you go and do your projects and impact lives. The main thing is, I see non-profit work or project work as giving you more time to do what you really want. So then you can now monetize it. And because you know that time is money, you're not going to be wasting your time on things that will not increase your value. Because I now have the opportunity to tell people that I'm busy because you see that I'm busy. Right? And that's the truth, I'm busy because I'm busy doing something. So you now have more time to yourself to do other things. The question is, are you really ready to succeed? Or you're the kind that just wants to complain? So yes, there's more time for you to do personal stuff. You could decide to be doing coaching. You could decide to be doing things. Recently I started some other stuff which I'm going to try later on. You know, it's just you have more time to do other things. And that is the way I say.
Thank you, MC to Bestie, for that. He says I'm really getting value. Thank you for that feedback, which is great. Now, look at let's for you as a person, you've talked about sacrifice of being a solution provider to meet the need of people, even sacrificing your own comfort, as it were, as it were. And now, if I look at, I think I've been following you for, God bless you, Dr. Shula, and the great Emmanuel Agonzi. No, God bless you too, brother. I've been following you for a while now. I always see you in African print. What's the motive? What's the secret behind that?
Africa to the world. I think it was intentional. Um, One of the things that usually makes me sad is the fact that in this part of the world, Nigeria particularly, we are so tribalistic and ethnic related, and it affects them. So most times, I'm from Delta State, but I dress like I'm from the North or the South. So you can't tell who I am or where I'm from. And you ask me, I'm from Nigeria. Why? Because we need to start creating that mindset of you are not Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. You just were born there or you have parents there. You were first your countryman. You see an American saying, oh, I'm an American. And that is very key to me. So my dress sense was basically to portray that. So you can't really tell where I'm from. Many persons have said I'm Yoruba. I'm like, yes. Some persons have said I'm Igbo. I say yes. Some say I'm Hausa. I say yes. Some people say that I'm Middle Belt. I say no, wahala. The main thing is we should project one nation. So that's basically what I do. And also the African prints, they're easy to wear. You don't start thinking of how to wash plenty of things. It's just
You sustain.
you can wear every time. You can wear it for church, wear it for function. You look okay.
It's just so fine. Interesting. Now, even though you've mentioned it in one of the ways, now challenges. Have you faced challenges?
Oh, a lot.
And how did you overcome those challenges?
A lot. My siblings, you always face the first challenges to be from your kinsmen.
Yeah.
That's always the first. My dad was like, this guy has lost it finally. Like, it's a struggle. It's always like that. Then the next challenge that most times will come will be from friends. You know, we're supposed to be 3. Started it. I was supposed to bring 2 co-founders, but they could not see what I was saying. And they just did not continue. They did not want to start, but they could continue. So yeah, it can be really sad because it's made me to start thinking that this one that these 2 persons are not interested in it. Is this thing worth my time? But I think it's helped me to grow stamina to ensure that I'm not let down by what people see or say, or just by what I want to achieve. So those are the second challenge that you will definitely face, or I faced. And the third one is finances. There's always going to be that, people will assume that you have all the money. Especially when you're doing projects worth millions. They just assume that you're stashing some money somewhere. They don't know that sometimes you don't have who want to give. And there's that assumption that you are rich and then you should be doing giveaway. And me, I'm the kind of person that's very spendthrift, and I'm like, this guy is stingy. And I'm like, I'm not stingy, I don't have it. But I'm not going to tell you I don't have it because I want you to, whatever. I'm just going to live within my means. So those are challenges. So that challenge can make you, if you're not careful, want to start doing what several people do in NGOs, which is wrong, which is trying to get funds or money for a project and don't do the project
And spend it on yourself.
Yeah, so that challenge will come because a part of you start thinking, well, I'm also a project, I should take some things. But the moment you start that, you cannot continue that and the project will die. So those are challenges. So how do I surmount it? But the parents I made them understand that I'm living my life. Don't worry, I'm not going to disturb you for money. So don't even think that I will start disturbing you for money. I think that's one thing that people need to do. When your parents also see that you're not going to be dependent on them for resources to sustain the project you want to do, they will respect you. So if it means you doing other side hustles to ensure that you don't start doing that you pay 700 naira credit or this one, if they can see that kind of independence, then that pressure will be reduced. It is not that it's going to be eradicated, but it will be reduced. So when they saw that this guy is not asking us for anything, he's happy by himself, okay, let's just support him. So that one reduced. The second one of friends, I just told myself that sometimes certain things are not for everybody. They are for you to have on. And it's for you to start, and then when it comes to the point, others will join you. It's like how the Daniel and the three brethren. Daniel needed to start, and then they saw that Daniel was really the man that wanted to serve God. Then when it came for those other three, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were able to hold themselves and even defend the God because Daniel has started it. He started that. So some persons may not ever, may not join or do something until they start. There's one of my friends who is doing amazing work now, Teka. He also saw that I was doing something. I'm sure it inspired him, and he's doing amazingly well. So you may not know who you inspire, who would take the bull by the horn, and then from what you're doing. He was more inspired because he was living close to Makoko, and I was living very far, and I was more committed. And he was like, no, he has to do something. And he's doing amazing work, right? So I think that's one way I handle that. Just tell yourself that some things are for you to start first, and others will join. Just you start that. The third one is do something else. The cure for greed is have your own money. You know, it's easier to spend people's money, but when you have your own money, you become very, very thrifty. So when you get something else going, now you're doing your projects here, do other things. So if it means you learning one skill, go and learn it. And now you have a better audience because people now trust you as someone who can handle people. So go and do something else and try to live within your means. That's another key thing. So there are always the challenges. Yeah. There are always the challenges.
Interesting. And it's start and others will join. Toby's, yeah, build stamina. Yes. And it's living within your means is important. And so, and the point you've mentioned about how to deal with family and friend in which you are not dependent on them, and that would temper them a little bit. But you've not addressed the other aspect in which you feel that, oh, I've spent money on you to go and study architecture. Architecture is not a cheap course. It is if you studied psychology or sociology, say you've gone to study architecture, spent money, all the models you built and everything, in which they are expecting that, okay, you now come and AJCT concept, welcome, in which you come and take care of maybe your younger sister or take care of somebody, and now you are nowhere to be found.
Well, I think I've been a crazy boy from start.
Okay.
And I just see it as I think one of the things that should help is people should dialogue with their parents or guardians. And then I think one of the things I told my dad was that, what would you really want from me? Do you want me to be happy, or do you want me to be assumed happy? No matter how hard-headed or whatever your parents can be, when you engage them in such heart-to-heart conversations, they will be thinking, and they may not support you. Like, yes, we are going to support you here, but they will not go against you because you've actually had that dialogue. And making them understand that whatever investment they've made in you is not going to go away. In fact, it's going to be used much more. Interestingly, we did a project where we built a school in Makoko, and I used my architectural skills in terms of supervision and the rest. I'm sure my dad was like, yes, that's my architecture son. Yeah, right? So the thing is, no matter the investment, we make them understand that it's not going to waste. It's going to be useful for something else. It's just that this is what gives you joy, and this is what you really want to do. And also be really sure you want to do it, because most of the time what happens with people is that when they hit a brick wall, they now come back and like, no, I don't want to do this thing here. The parents are like, this guy is
We
good.
told you. You wasted time.
Yeah, be really sure that's what you want to do. And when parents see that sense of responsibility and independence, they have most time no other option than to support you. Because no matter how bad a child can be, the parents will never leave him or her hanging. Right? No matter how bad a child can be. The parents may just say, yes, I told you, you did not listen to me, whatever, but they will not want to hang you. Well, good parents will not want to hang you. Right? So I think it starts with that week conversation. Let them know that you are not ungrateful for their investment, but at the same time, you cannot live the life that will not make you happy.
And I think, thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think what our guest is saying, which I think I alluded to in last session also, is that for you to make positive impact on earth and even on this to your constituents, which I mentioned earlier, is for you first and foremost, which our guest is talking about, what will make you happy, is for you to know your why. Why do you exist here on earth? If you don't know why you exist, then you will just be moving from pillar to post. And that is the reason why if you face confrontation or you face challenges, you feel you need to run back and say, well, I don't think this thing is working. When you know your why and you know why that God has called you into that particular thing to be a change and to be an impact, to be a catalyst in that project or whatever you put your hand to do, it will give you resilience to continue to push and never to give up, to know that there's always going to be a way. Why? Because you know that is the reason why you have come. You know that this is why I was born. Like I had a masterclass I handled for some students from people from Rwanda, DRC, South Sudan, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and I was talking on purpose. And I was saying, if you don't know your purpose, you will just be moving from pillar to. But when you know your purpose, it might cost you. There might be challenges, but you forge ahead because you know that this is why I was born. Jesus in John 19, verse 28 said, what? For this purpose I was born. Jesus knew why he was born, and that is the reason why it helped him. Even though he was a carpenter, he left carpentry, which some people feel like yourself, leaving architecture, they will feel that why would you leave carpentry that is helping you, and you do Jesus, you want to begin to preach up and down. But he knew that carpentry was just to help him to interact and socially pay the bills. And at that time, he left that and went to the fulfillment of his purpose, which is, you're about to respond to that.
Yeah, because the things we go through are just a fragment of who we become. I tell persons, I'm not a practicing architect, but my architecture now is to build the lives of children. So there's always that connecting point. Whatever you studied or whatever investment you made, always that connecting point. The thing is, like Martin Luther said, if you can fly, fly. If you can run, run. If you can walk, walk. If you can crawl, crawl. Whatever you do, keep moving.
Just keep moving.
So that mindset of progression, that mindset of becoming a better version of yourself, that mindset of touching more lives and much more, is really what will take one person to do. So, yeah, like you just mentioned, Jesus' carpentry. Because he may have left the physical carpentry, but he needed to go and build the structure that apostles will hold on to. And he needed the physical buildings of human beings to build them. So it's still carpentry, but a
different kind of carpentry. A different kind of carpentry. Since you are blowing my mind with Emmanuel, be zealous and fix your eyes on the goal. Yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. So, can you believe that it's already 1 hour?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's 13 minutes. So, and we started it's interesting, isn't it? It's been a wonderful conversation in which we've been unpacking the vision and the experience of Mr. Emmanuel Agunze. Now, from these people, in that community, is there any one of them who have, gone out to become maybe a trailblazer? Maybe themselves, they've graduated, they've moved to the university. You are 4 years ago, so maybe they have not yet to university yet, but at least maybe they've moved from primary school to secondary school, and they are doing well, and they could be.
We have several success stories that gives me so much joy. There are several, but one that stands out is that of Tinola.
Chinola, okay.
So her story gives me so much hope and assurance that I'm doing the right thing. So in 2018, when we started this second school, she was 11 or 12, and the parents could not afford schooling and everything. She could not speak English, she could not write, and at that stage, the next thing that most of their parents are thinking of is how to marry her off, whatever, or put her in one work like that. And those works are usually are usually things that makes those ladies be exposed to men who take advantage of them.
Yeah.
It's sad because in Okoko, rape is not yet seen as rape. It's still like, oh, the guy raped you, okay, you marry. And so she was on that verge of being put in that line.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's step in. And we stepped in, told the parents, don't worry, she's not just going to be tuition free, we're going to take care of her very well. We were not really so excited about it because within 1 year, this lady can speak English. She wrote me a letter and sent me, and I was like, wow, she can speak English. She was now serving as interpreter for her parents.
Wow.
She has gotten several awards, local and international. She was in primary 6, and she was the volunteer school bus driver. So she will
drive the boat.
She would take the canoe, take the children to school herself and back. She would wash the canoes. She was just exceptional, and she's gotten several awards and the rest. And she and her mates just got admitted into Lagos State schools in Yaba, Lagos. So they're pursuing their dream of going to secondary school, and that's a good fit for her because in her family she will be the first to go to secondary school. I think her parents did not do past primary or did not do primary. So she is setting the pace for her family. And I can imagine how bright her future will be in 6 years' time. She now will be talking on the TED Talks and everything. So, for Tinola's case of how someone that was on the verge of being taken to the family way or things to now become someone that has dreams and aspirations and wants to be a doctor. She's an excellent swimmer. We took her to a swimming pool and she was just, excelling in that. And she's just amazing, So, her story kind of inspires me that, I'm doing the right thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
I wrote a lot of stories about her on Facebook, Instagram, and the rest, even when I was in the US.
Do you have videos of some of these stories as videos or that?
Yeah. I have a document where I collate all that we've done.
Okay. Do you have a website?
Yes, we do. We have a website.
Okay.
Makoko Dream.
Okay.
makokodream.org.ng.
Okay. So if some of these videos, if some of these things are there, so that some of our audience can go to that place to watch some of these videos and some of these write-ups and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Gifted Ma too. I think is one of your. It says, "Good evening, boss."
Good evening.
Wow. .org.ng.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow, it's been a wonderful night. I know it's been very inspirational. And for those who are here, Chioma, MC, Tobesi, and on others, you agree with me that tonight again has been wonderful. Lives being changed from architecture, from building house, normal physical buildings, into building lives. And I think maybe that's the title of your book, that your memoir that will be coming out. From building lives to be from building houses to building lives. And I think that it's very important that for us, like this show is about to help you, to inspire you. And I hope for those of you who have watched, are here to that live, you have been inspired. And for those who might be watching the replay, I hope you've been inspired. And I hope you've been able to learn from the experience of our guest tonight, to see how you also can pivot to say, okay, 2021, I will begin to make positive impact in my community, in my country, and on my continent. You can make the impact. You have the change. Nobody else will come and bring any particular change. And if you are still looking for, okay, what am I supposed to do? Who are my constituency? Try discover your purpose, know why God has created you, and ask Him. He would definitely reveal those people He wants you to pour your lives into and to bring change for them. So thank you very much, sir, tonight, Mr. Emmanuel. We really appreciate your coming to bless us, to inspire us, and to show us that it's possible to be the change, even in this kind of world where we are now. To say it's possible to be the change and to be a trailblazer, even for your family who might have doubted you before. So they said about Jesus also. They told Jesus also before, look at him, he's a dreamer, he's not going anywhere. Will you not go and preach today? Are you not going to go to the feast? That was what they told Jesus. But at the end of the day, they saw that, oh, this is the reason why he was created. So thank you very much, sir, for blessing us, for inspiring us. We wish you all the best. And we hope to, like I told you, my research is on corporate social responsibility and social community engagement and enterprise. So maybe we hope to do something together in the nearest future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming.
It's fine. Thank you so much for having me. And one last word. Just start with someone. Whoever you're led to be of blessing to, just start with that person. And if all you can do is just give someone a loaf of bread, say no. It's not about the volume, as it were. It's about the heart. The fact that you can, out of your own pain, think of someone else. It's really what this is all about. So look out for opportunities. Look out for persons who are going through tough times. And if you can do something, do. And if you cannot do, not beat yourself about it, but do the one you can do. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. It's been a great time. So thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So bye.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful time tonight. MC Tobesi, thank you for always engaging, for the engagement. You're keeping us pumped up. Thank you very much. Naomi, thank you. Shelby, for joining. Thank you. Sylvia, thank you. Chioma, thank you. Ward Alia, and all who has been with us tonight. It's been a wonderful time. We've seen from the experience. Please go back and watch this on my page. We are moving up. All of us are going to be pivoting this year into making positive impact in our family life, in every area of life. So thank you very much. Next week, on Tuesday, we are bringing another guest that will inspire us, that will go up higher, and will be able to make more positive impact in our community. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Emmanuel, for coming to inspire us. It's been a wonderful night. So I'll see you again on Tuesday by the grace of God. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.